Hello everyone, welcome to the Bitcoin market update for Brave New Coin. I'm your host Carl, lead trader, portfolio manager at Techemy Capital. Quick disclaimer, this video does not constitute financial advice and is intended for educational purpose only. Guys, let's start with the DXY chart and we'll look after that at the SP 500, NASDAQ, couple of metrics on the Bitcoin, and then we'll dive into the monthly, weekly, and daily charts. And we'll also have a look at few fractals and give you an update on them since the last video. Here's a NASDAQ, here's a DXY, and since the last update, if you remember well, we had some rejection here, but I did anticipate that we'll recuperate, and if needed, it could have went to 103, but it did not. It held back above 106. Here on the monthly, managed to close a candle right at it. And then you see here we have a continuation as expected, as we overviewed a while back, and we're heading up to $112, $116, which I think will be the top. Now there's a possibility we may head higher viewing the current energy crisis and more bad macros, which as the bad macros we've overviewed in the past few months, you have recession, you have a lot of problems, you have the housing correction currently happening. I don't think the bubble popped, but I do think that the housing is due for another round of correction, maybe another 4, 5, or 6% down from the current prices, at least here in the US. And yeah, the tech bubble, obviously we've seen most of the tech stocks crapping out pretty hard in the past 9 months. So I think there's another last leg down, as you guys know. That's been my call for quite a while, so I think this is what we'll see happening. Now question is, if we head higher, can we head higher to 120? I think we can. But let's see what happens when we get around this level. We'll have to look at that in time, closer to November, December, then we can make a call. We'll have to see how the global economy and everything is faring at that time. SP 500, this is our old chart. As you see, since last time, I was expecting that we top somewhere around here, 4,150, 4,240 or so. That said, we did see this relief pump or bear market rally head higher. There was a little volume here, low volume into August, so I think maybe some may have gotten too excited and went and bought higher. Eventually, we got that rejection from 4,400 resistance, and very hard rejection, and we went back down to retest the bottom support, and we see here that the 4,150 support did not hold back as support on the first test, so we flushed back down very hard to the next support, which is 3,900. So right now this has been holding, although yesterday we had a wick down to 3,888. The line in the sand for the bulls is to hold this level, key level, in the next coming weeks and month. If the bulls manage to hold on to this support and we see something like this developing in the coming month, maybe some kind of double bottom heading into October, which I'll be looking for, and it comes in December into January, start breaking back up and higher, and then we come back, see something similar to those old recession charts, though we don't go further down. Then I think we have more. Then I think we could head back up and test the all-time high, and that would be great, really good for Bitcoin and crypto. Now, if that does not happen, I think, which is currently my call, I think we see a huge rejection happening by October tops. I think by end of September we should see that rejection happening. If it's to happen, we'll see a sell-off from here, and we'll see towards 3,000, roughly 600, could be more or less 100 off as well. So let's say 3,600 to 3,700. Then I think we will see the sell-off continue a little deeper and maybe we could continue seeing that sell-off similar to those old factors. So we'll see what happens. That's still my call. I'm still not changing my mind. I still think that sure, we went a little higher. That said, that rejection is pretty strong. This support did hold, but I still think that this support will fail, and we will see a sell-off, and we'll catch back on with those recession factors. Now, if I am wrong, I will gladly call it out, but that's for now my call, is that we will see this sell-off. Let me call it this, leave it for next time. We will see some continuation to the downside heading into a tax harvesting season, heading into December. So let's see what happens. Same for NASDAQ. I think we see the similar setup. Don't want to spend too much time here, but we're looking at a similar pump to the SP 500. This was actually quite, I would say, accurate. We went to the resistance. We overshot it a little bit, so that was our call last time, 12,800. We did go a little bit higher, very little higher, to 13,100, but then we got this strong rejection. Now we're holding at support here at 11,700. We should keep holding it. Any weakness below it is gonna drive us like the SP 500, like I'm saying, for the bear setup for the SP 500. Lower, we would go back down to roughly 10,600 or 700. Then we would see more downside towards 7,000 or 6,000. Well, we'll see what happens. It's still a long time till then. And yeah, if we see the NASDAQ recuperating, similar to SP 500 bull scenario that I just told you guys about, seeing some double bottom and some slow uptrend developing, maybe some chop as well, and then we will start going up sometimes mid to 2023 or so. So that's what I think will, those are the two potential scenarios I'm seeing. I still think, though, you guys know that we will follow back the Great Recession fractals, or the recessions fractals I had from before, and with more downside. Let's see what happens. Again, remember the bottom is typically around tax harvesting season, October to February, mainly October to December. Now we could go, stocks tend to go a little bit in January, February in that bottom. So let's see what happens. I think crypto will follow suit. Let's move on to the next here metric. So let's look at the Kingfisher Bitcoin liquidation map. This is the latest one. I pulled it a couple of minutes ago before this we started this video. We see right now we have very interesting chart here. We have a cluster of shorts liquidation at 19,800. Which actually makes sense. I mean, we'll talk about this a little in detail, but we could go here, liquidate some shorts here, and then I don't see a lot of shorts to liquidate here, although they are there. There's a 24,000, which is a 1 weekly Bollinger mid band. You have 26K, and you have some shorts here at roughly 29,000. That said, I think if we're gonna make a move, maybe we'll come here to 20,000, fake out maybe 20,200, 400, take out those shorts, and we dump back down. Now look at this huge long liquidation map here, guys. This is pretty big. Everybody's long. Everybody's freaking long. And then I'll have a look at this with you guys. But look at this. Like, everybody's longing here, thinking this is the bottom. I beg to differ. Look at 17,000. Look at 16,000. These are all longs liquidations that are waiting to happen. If we drop to 17,000, I'm very confident that we would see a liquidation cascade down to 14,000, 13,000, even 13,000. Maybe we'll get to my target of 12,000. Range to 9,000. But this is quite interesting. We're seeing a lot of longs opening up confidently here and cheering up. And if we look here at the Blockchain whispers briefly. Look at the Binance. Bitfinex has always been long, so degenerately long. 96% is ridiculous. They've been long since 34K and higher, so yeah, you can leave those guys out. BitMEX 50-50, but look at Binance, 70% longs. Barely any shorts, 28%. Yeah, I don't think the bottom is in when you have everybody longing in. Now, unless we somehow chop sideways around these levels and people start to give up their longs, but that would be like a month or several months, and then you start seeing people flipping shorts at the current level of 19,000. But I don't see that happening. I see the US breaking down. You guys know that. I'm siding with a breakdown towards 12 to 9,000. Anyways, let's keep going here. This is the CME future gaps. Quick charts here to show. We actually just filled the gap at 19,100, 18,300. So I'm going to take this out. This is filled. There's another gap now at 17,300 and 16,300. So I think we should go there in the next few weeks. Let's give it some time. Remember, guys, I said August, September comes, we should see a dump materialize. So let's give it some time and see what happens. So I think it's more likely we go fill here and those two gaps, and that gap at 9,675, and we go back, eventually go back up and fill the other gaps. Now, if I'm wrong, of course, we would see maybe a pump from past 22Ks, and we maybe go back up, test 27, 28Ks and fill that gap. But I still don't think that will happen. Now, in case I'm wrong, glad to be proven wrong, but I think we fill those bottom two gaps first. Our monthly chart here on Bitcoin. You guys know I've been saying that we will do sideways. We'll be in sideways since I tweeted about this chart, and we've been in sideways between 17,000, 18,004 and support, and the top resistance at 25,000. And I said that time that we would find resistance 25,000 and 27,000. $25,000 and $27,000, and that has actually been quite accurate. You see here, we revisited. If I remove these, we did quite similar to what I expected. It's been quite accurate, and we failed at 25K. We couldn't go past a little bit deeper in that range. So it's been quite accurate, my call, and I've been saying that we'll see the purple fractal play out with a sell-off to 12,000, 9,000. So this is still on track. I'm not going to say it's playing out, but we still have to see that breakdown with a lower low below 27,000, roughly 600 or 500 dollars. We see that the blue fractal now is not at play. That was like the alternate scenario in case I was wrong. So far we are below the monthly logarithmic ellipse and support. This has not happened historically on Bitcoin in a long time. That's not good news for the bulls. The bulls need to reverse that monthly candle as soon as possible, close it as a wick, and recuperate back above, preferably 22 or 21K, close the monthly there as soon as possible. The weekly Bollinger Med band is roughly at 25K. That will be coming down slowly, but it's acting as resistance, and will keep acting as resistance. I think here, if we're doing double bottom, maybe let's move this here like this, right? Then now it's the time for the bulls to come together and get the market back to bull. Maybe ideally we could, if that fails too, maybe we could see some sideways like this into February Q1, maybe some pump after Q1 or Q2, but I don't know. That's still a long way. We'll see what happens. I still think I'm still rooting for 12 to 9,000, which was my initial call going into tax harvesting season. Comes December, November, I think that's when we would see that bottom form. Again, this is not good news here. You see the monthly Bollinger bands expanding. The bottom Bollinger monthly band is at 15,000 currently. This has never happened in history where the band started expanding, and we've been in this area, the bottom area, touching the Bollinger monthly band. That's not good news, but especially it won't be any good news if we take out that low. Then I think we will expand to the downside. So these are my 2 cents here, guys. It's nothing has broken yet though here. Just keep that in mind. Both, I would say that we're on thin line. The bulls are on thin, trading on a thin line. We're in danger zone, so they want to push up as soon as possible, right? If you look at the RSI, monthly RSI, the RSI does look good for assuming that we're looking at the previous models where we bottomed in that 44 RSI area. So we are there. We shot a little bit below to 41, but if the bulls are there, we are in that territory of bottoming territory, but can they hold it? We shall see. All right, let's move on to the worst outcomes chart. In case this low gives in at 17,500, we have more downside similar to previous bear market. We could see a 84% downtrend from here and a final bottom at 12 to 9K. And remember, guys, we're heading into recession here, so I don't see why we would not get 84%. The previous bear market did not have a recession in them, and we got 84%. Now, we could argue that, yeah, sure, BlackRock and Coinbase, Fidelity, Retirement are great 401. Fidelity has a 401k product now, so that could help out. I don't know, really. I don't think that I could be wrong, but I think we still will see more downside, at least to 84% here, which I think will be the final bottom. Now, the worst of the outcomes ever would be 90% sell off to 7K or 6Ks, and another one at 94% would be at 4K. But those are right now, I don't see those happening. So let's keep going. This is the Amazon fractal, guys. We've overviewed in the past videos. You see here Bitcoin failed to reach that peak here at 27, 29Ks. So that's a failure. That said, it's still following quite surprisingly very well. I would say that fractal we're holding now at support. I do expect a breakdown to 14K, and then we would push back up maybe to 19K, and then eventually we'll make our way to 12 to 10Ks in the next few months. This could be accurate because I could see due to the whole macro backdrop and everything, we could see 2023 being a very boring market sideways shop. So let's see what happens, but this could be quite accurate. Let's see. Now, if we do break up from here, and we start breaking out from this resistance, then maybe we're proven wrong. Then we will. Then this fractal is void, and maybe we do some sideways around here instead, above 19Ks, or above 19 or 18 or 17Ks. Let's keep moving here. This is a weekly log chart, Fibonacci channel. This hasn't changed for a while. We see here kind of called that last time that we stopped at 24K. We did shoot a little bit above it, but we're stopped by the cluster of resistance here at 24, 25Ks. And then I still expect us to see a sell-off down to 10. On this chart, it's calling 10 to 8 or 7K. So we'll see what happens. The previous bear market bottom on those diagonal Fibonacci supports, as you see here, and in here as well in 2015. So we'll see what happens. This is still accurate, and resistance at 25K on the weekly mid-band, Bollinger mid-band. This will keep pushing down. This still is unchanged. I still think this here red squiggle is still, as I've called it in the last videos that I've done with you guys. If you guys remember this chart, famous chart I posted on Twitter, bear flags. This is the third bear flag, and this bear flag actually, I think here I tweeted that on the last video. I think I tweeted about this, and I talked about this in Discord, and I talked about it in the video. I said this bear flag fails, it will fail here, but the bulls do have a chance at chance at 20,800 to hold it. That'll be their last support, and they held it, and they kept shopping everybody for a long time. And then we see here we hit 25k, still within the bear flag, and then we sold down. And I told you guys on Discord channel, if you're following me there, that we should have a stop around this level at 20,500, which was triggered later on. So the minute we broke that bear flag down, we see we had a sell-off, and we canceled, we avoided any upside from there. Now, what I think would happen is we see a double bottom forming here. That's the most bullish scenario that we could think of for the bulls going into November, December. If they can hold that level, regain 19,500, regain above 20,500, and push above to 22k and try to close weekly and monthly there, that would be the ideal scenario for the bulls. I don't see that, but it's quite possible. So let's see what happens. I personally think we see that continuation to the downside happen. Maybe something like this, some chop, and comes end of September, we sell down to 14k, maybe get some pump to 18, 19ks, and we sell back down to 10k, and that will be the bottom here, somewhere here. So that's what I think will happen, guys. Let's keep going. Last chart here, Old Faithful. You guys know this chart pretty well. My famous 2018, 2022 comparison. It's been quite holding well, that range, right? We overshot a little bit above this, but 34% range is still actually, it's still quite similar. Yeah, it's still playing out. We shot a little bit above, but it's quite not bad. You see that fractal here from 2008 for the Adam and Eve overlapped here on our current action for a double bottom, which looks quite possible. If you're bull, that's what you would be rooting for, and that's actually the exact case, bullish case I just overviewed a minute ago on the other previous chart. There will be something like this, right? The bulls would hold those levels, try to build up here and chop back up and make a double bottom, and maybe in November we break up. But I think it's possible. Let's see what happens. First of all, bulls need to regain, pump back up above 19,500 and touch 20,400 or 500, and then we'll see what happens from there. Not to say that this morning I did buy at 18,800, give and take one BTC here, and let's see what happened. I put a stop loss right below, and then we'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's it. If anything, please register for subscribe to the channel on YouTube, subscribe to my channel on Discord, and we'll see you next time.